in our tracks. Bravely we prove in our striving, trudging together each day. Where there's a will, there's a way.
Happy Tuesday. Happy Tuesday to you. Yeah. We're going to be talking about impatience today. Impatience. You know, I know a little bit about being impatient. How about you? Know a little bit about it? Oh, something that we need to work on. All right. So, yeah, it's therapy day. I like Tuesdays. I enjoy therapy because it's all about me. All right. This therapy is all about me. I pay them, so therefore they're required to agree with everything I say. I hope you're not buying that. That's not how therapy works. All right. I do hope everybody's having a good day. Good morning, Leisure. Good to see you. Yeah. It's kind of one of those days where I'm gonna try and figure out what I want to do. There's people that want to meet, but I don't know. People are weird, man. Sometimes I don't understand. Oh well, it's not for me to figure out at all times. Well, no wonder no wonder I didn't get this email. He sent it almost 11 o'clock last night. That's why. Okay. So we'll be doing a little bit of reading. We're going to be in As Bill Sees It, page 111. And then we're going to go over to the 12 by 12 on page 79. Why does it feel like we just read that? Why does that seem familiar? Hi, Amber. Happy lunch break. Good to see you. No. Okay. Maybe it was just I'm mixing it up with another number. You know. Coffee. Coffee. Let's do some introductions. Let's get started. See what we can do today. Welcome to Daily Trudge. My name is Dion. I'll be your host forever. Forever. But I'll only be your host one day at a time forever. So that way it doesn't feel overwhelming. If you're here, please say hello. Whether you're watching the live or the rewatch. Let's get started. We react more strongly to frustration than normal people. Yeah, I have to say I was probably a little more sensitive than a lot of other people. I still get irritated fairly easy. In the beginning, my impatience was people interfering with what I thought was my personal time. That was my biggest impatience. Maybe something's just not happening quick enough for me, or, you know, I'm getting impatient with some things, at the same time, I don't really know what's going on with them. So anything I'm making is probably a presumption, right? Aurora Mental Health, and nobody's asked me about it. which I find odd. What happened Friday? It was 3 days ago. Nothing. Nothing happened. They just talked about how things are delayed and things. They never, So it was, down the road, right? And I hear what they're saying. Okay, and this person was not lying to me. They weren't. I don't think that they were lying to me, but I don't think they were telling me everything either. I don't think that I was told the real reasons of what was going on and things like that. But what am I going to do? It's clear they don't want me to be a part of it. So I don't think when it comes to the detox, I'm not going to put much more effort into it. No, let them do what they're going to do. I'll utilize it the best way that I can. That's all I can do. Otherwise, what's going to happen? Well, then I'll start to get impatient. And who does that affect? Does that affect them? No, it affects me. I do that for me. There's a place in Greeley looking for peer support and other help. I'm sure there is. I already know. I'm very familiar with Greeley. My mom worked in the field up there for 20 years. They're called North something. I know who they are. I'm not going to become a peer. I will not become peer support or anything else. I'm not going to go that route. I just have a hard time. They don't match my ideals. Yeah. But Amber, please do send me. But I do know other people that do that. So if you know the name of the place, if you could text it to me, I would be happy to pass it on. Yeah. So, I get it. Well, if one town doesn't want your help, try another. I'm just going a different direction. I'm going to stick with AA, and I'm starting a little business for myself. I've been looking into starting a power washing business. That's what I'm actually looking at. It's not recovery, okay, but I can utilize what I can do is start a power washing business and then help some of these guys that are kind of looking for jobs and stuff in the beginning, trying to get on their feet. I will hire those people, right? So, yes, there's a bunch of places on Indeed, but I'm not looking for a job in the field. So, I'm not looking for a job in the field. Again, those places don't match my morals. Although there's some good news going on. There's some good news. West Pines. I'm gonna give a plug to West Pines. I had a little talk with somebody about their program, and they do take in alcoholic addiction and mental health. But once you get there, you're separated into different places. So they did it the right way. Good job, West Pines. Thank you. See? There's some good moves that are being made out there. So if I was to go anywhere, I might go to West Pines. You never know. You never know. Maybe I could look into that. We'll see. They're supposed to get in touch with me for a tour. So what I'm going to do is just call a bunch of people and say, hey, we're going to go do this tour. You want to join us? But I'm going to get more into the AA side and helping out with CPC. So we react strongly to frustration by reliving these episodes and discussing them in strict confidence with somebody else. We can reduce their size and therefore their potency in the unconscious. Where is West Pines? Ooh. West Pines used to be more located towards Golden, but now their main campus is off of Huron and 112th. So it's by Kaiser over there. It's right off Huron. So when we talk about these things, our frustrations and these types of things, they tend to start to lose their power. When we tell on ourselves, Like maybe you feel like drinking. So you go to a meeting, you're like, I'm just having a really rough day. I feel like drinking. Suddenly it doesn't have the power over you that it might find that it did have. Okay. So when we have our problems and we talk about them, they start to get down to their right size. Right. So um especially when we're frustrated. Especially when we're frustrated. So let's get to the 12 by 12, page 79. Let's go there. It's going to be on step 8. Yeah, I think they had to tear down the Dollar Tree to make it, actually. So I think you're right. You're right on there. Okay. So 79. Okay, we're just going to go ahead and start in the middle of page 79 for anybody that would like to follow along. I have more of a brain today. I insisted on sleeping in. I mean, it's not moving very fast. Last week was a little too fast for me. All right, the Adderall, which I stopped taking days ago because it worked, but it worked way too well. My blood pressure was way too high, and it was making me very, very fucking cranky. So yeah, no. Ha ha, you're funny. Amber says that's what he said. All right. So page 79, that's what he said. All right. Some of us, though, tripped over a very different snag. We clung to the claim that when drinking, we never hurt anybody but ourselves. It's the number one denial. It's why we drink alone. It's why we end up drinking alone. It's one of the reasons that we drive everybody else off, right? At least I did. Jim Beam and I used to like to play this little game called Leave Me the Fuck Alone. And you left me the fuck alone. Period. Don't even bother asking me any questions. Yep. This is the number one fallacy. You know, oh, I'm not hurting my kids. Well, yeah, you're in your room drinking alone while your kid is on the other side of the door wanting to go through the ball, but you don't want to. Yeah, no, we affect people. In fact, we tend to affect people more than normal people do. And no, I'm not getting into the normal conversation. You know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying, right? Our families didn't suffer because we always paid the bills and seldom and drank at home. Coming home drunk's the same darn thing. Yeah. The absence of father or mother for days, weeks, months, years at a time has a very big effect on the children when they don't have guidance from the person that they need guidance from. That was me. I was an absentee father for a long time. I'm not anymore. I'm not that way anymore. I mean, I had to go make a lot of changes so I wouldn't be that person anymore. I'm still sober for my wife and kids. I love them. I do recovery for me. I have to. I do. But there are days when I have to remind myself why I'm doing what I'm doing. Yeah. And that's okay. It's all right. Our business associates didn't suffer because we were usually on the job. Usually on the job. Usually. We were there physically, but were we there mentally? Only partly. Our reputations hadn't suffered because we were certain few knew of our drinking. There's another fallacy. Everybody knows about your drinking. Everybody knows. Just so you know, you're hiding it. They just don't want to talk to you about it because you're a dick. Because you get defensive. Because you turn into a fucking jerk when they confront you on it, when they talk to you about, oh, they know. They've had their own experiences with alcoholics and stuff. And they just don't want to deal with it. You're toxic. And nobody wants to fucking be a part of that anymore. Man, I just changed my whole screen by accidentally hitting my. All right. Those who did would sometimes assure us that, after all, a lively bender was only a good man's fault. What real harm, therefore, had we done? No more, surely, than we could easily mend with a few casual apologies. The fact that we even have to get to a few casual apologies, there's something in and of itself wrong with that. Right? I guess some people didn't really like the confrontation there, that were kind of assholes. They left. It's all right. I am what I am. You know, I'm going to tell the truth, man. I did it again this morning. I'm all for men's mental health, but everybody keeps posting these stats that don't fucking exist. Okay. 1,800 men a day committing suicide. No, it is 100. It's still bad enough. That's still not a good number. But we can't just post statistics and not resources. Post the resources too, man. Before you repost something on something like that, go check the fucking facts first, please. There's a big difference between 100 and 1,800 a day. That is a huge jump, and it is inflated. We call this fear mongering. Okay. Because if we don't know the actual stats, then we can't do anything about them. So we don't need to make it bigger than it needs to be so that we can start helping it. No, that's not how it works. All right. And I'm very much, and on the other side, thank you everybody for recognizing Men's Mental Health Month. I appreciate that. Okay. Now let's take the next step and get the right facts out there. Okay. All right. Just the facts, ma'am. Just the facts. For any of you Dragnet fans. All right. So this attitude, of course, was the end result of purposeful forgetting. It is an attitude which can only be changed by a deep and honest search of our motives and actions. Yeah, I do something wrong. I go out and drink, and what's the next thing that happens? Well, I push it down and I forget about it. I forget. Yeah. Purposeful forgetting that I'd even done that to somebody. I'm going to tell you something. You don't get away with anything in this life. You either confront your snakes or you can do what I did. You can drink into your mid 40s and then it can come out in trauma. Don't wait. Don't do it the way that I did it. Unless you're my age, then get your butt to therapy. Actually, I believe that every alcoholic should have a therapist, but that is opinion only. That's opinion only. Anyway, though in some cases we cannot make restitution in all, and in some cases action ought to be deferred, we should nevertheless make an accurate and really exhaustive survey of our past life as it has affected other people. All right. This is where your sponsor is a fantastic tool. Talk to your sponsor about it. Talk to your sponsor about it. They're going to have the right answers. See, what my brain's going to do is come up with excuses to try and find the easier, softer way. That's why I really need a guide in step 8 and 9. My sponsor was very, very helpful with so checking in for a dentist appointment. I need to go to the dentist. Thanks for the reminder. Thanks for overwhelming me more. No, I'm just kidding. All right. In many instances, we shall find that though the harm done others has not been great, That's not always true, okay? Here's the thing. The emotional harm we have done ourselves has. You think this is about the other person, but it's most of it's not. This is about you, taking care of you. The hours we have spent in turmoil over something that could have been taken care of in 2 minutes. Why do we continue to do that? Why do we let that happen? So that we have reasons to drink. Those are great excuses to drink, and people buy them. And until you run across another alcoholic or somebody like yourself that's like, yeah, that's not true. That's bullshit. You're just doing that so you can continue justifying your drinking or whatever else. Right? Mm. 'Cause that's all I was doing. I was just justifying my drinking. Oh, woe is me and all that. I'm such a horrible person. I might as well just, yeah. Yep. Very deep, sometimes quite forgotten. Damaging emotional conflicts persist below the level of consciousness. At the time of these occurrences, they may actually have given our emotional violent twists, which have since discolored our personalities and altered our lives for the worse. What are they talking about there? They're talking about Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. That's what I'm kind of catching. That discolored personality, that's Mr. Hyde. Yeah. And I'm trying to hide everything. Not doing a very good job. I quit trying. I quit trying to hide it. In fact, I didn't do a very good job of it in the first place. I didn't I didn't hide my alcohol. If you went after my alcohol, you were removed. Period. I didn't fuck with it. I don't really seem like that kind of person, do I? I don't seem like the kind of person just blows somebody off because they kind of did something, because I'm not that person. Nope. I'm not. Alcohol made me that way. Is it all alcohol's fault? No. No. I've got to take responsibility for what I've done, man. Or it just isn't going to work out for me. Right? Hey Michelle, good to see you. Right? So this impatience that we have for other people. I know mine crops up. And so, you know, God save me from being angry, thy will, not mine, be done. A lot of people have always told me that I'm impatient. It's like, by the time if I've gotten to the point where, well, and I'm not as impatient as other people say I am, they just don't like being confronted by me. Nobody really likes confrontation, you know. So I don't know. There's a couple things going. I apologize. There's other things going through my head, and I'm just catching some bullshit that I didn't catch on Friday because I was in the moment. At the same time, that's not something that I really want to think about today. If that's the case, that's their problem. While the purpose of making restitution in others is paramount, it is equal and necessary that we extricate from an examination of our personal relations every bit of information about ourselves and our fundamental difficulties that we can. Woo! What does extricate mean? I do not know what that means. Definition of extricate.
Here's the definition of extricate: free someone or something from a constraint or difficulty.
Freeing somebody, free from a constraint or difficulty. All right. Now, doesn't that make a little bit more sense? All right, let's go back to that. It is equally necessary that we, and I'm going to kind of change this. It is necessary that we relieve ourselves from the constraint from an examination of our personal relations. So, in other words, we're going to let go, dig up, I mean that, all right? So, in this case, it's letting go. Well, what does that have to? It's forgiveness. That's what I would probably come up with in that, right? This isn't a, what's the best way to put it? It's not all about me. I don't need to bring up other things and all the things for them to feel sorry for me so that I can be forgiven by them. That's not something that we're doing. That's kind of what I'm getting from this. Since defective relations with other human beings have nearly always been immediate cause of our woes, including our alcoholism, no field of investigation could yield a more satisfying and valuable reward than this one. Calm, thoughtful reflection upon personal relations can deepen our insight. We can go far beyond these things which were superficially wrong with us to see those flaws which were basic, flaws which sometimes were responsible for the whole pattern of our lives. Thoroughness, we have found, will pay and pay handsomely. Yeah, God do it thoroughly. Fearlessly and thoroughly are the watchwords for step 4, which is what they're kind of referring to right now. Why in step 8 would they be referring to step 4? Remember the grudge list you wrote? That's your 8. That's the list of the people that you harmed. It's your 8-step list also. Although you might be adding more people on. No. So you already wrote your list. You wrote it in the 4th step. That's what I was taught. I haven't heard any different yet. That's why, that's why I recommend if you decide to burn your 4th step, because some people do, it's just an action to kind of let go of the past. If you want to burn your 4th step, to at least write down those names or take a picture of it, something like that, so you don't have to rewrite it. Good morning, Corey. It's good to see you. All right. So thoroughness, right? So are we really being impatient? What happens when we're impatient? Don't we feel a little bit uppity? We're not in the best of moods, right? Because, and what is it? What would impatience lead back to? I believe it would lead back to fear. That's where my impatience comes from. All right. And let's go back to the detox. All right. Been working on it a year and a half now. Just that now they've been working on it a year and a half. I've been working on it 3 years. Have I had patience? Sure, I've had a lot of patience. Does it take a lot of time for the government to do anything? Yes. They haven't even found a place yet. They're still looking for a place. I don't think they're I don't think they're working as hard at it as I would like them to. Right? But my fear is they're just going to give us the same detox at East Metro, which is currently not working. And I don't want to put in here's my fear. I don't want to put in all that work for it to feed the people I'm trying to shut down. And it's working towards that. It's a legitimate fear. But really the fear is that I'm not going to get what I want. But in this case, what I want is actually the right thing. So how do we counter that? All right. What can we do? Well, really all I can do is be proactive. The head guy that's kind of taking it on wants to meet with me. He wrote me last night. He's like, well, we can meet Wednesday or Thursday. I'm like, gosh, that's pretty quick. But I am going to do what I can to go meet with him probably Thursday. And I'm going to allay my fears to him. It's the best. It's the best that I can do. I don't have to be mean about it. I don't need to be rude. I don't need to name call or any of that. But I can stick to facts and let them know why I have that fear. Okay. It's the best that I can do. Beyond that, it is out of my control. Kinda. I could always protest. I could picket. I'll be out there alone. All right, let's get to the reflection. I was just using that as an example of where our impatience really goes back to the fear that we're either not going to get what we want or we're going to lose something. Right? That's what it for me anyway. All right. So today's daily reflection: impatience with other people is one of my principal failings. Following a slow car in a no passing lane or waiting in a restaurant for the check drives me to distraction. Eh, if I'm in a hurry, yeah, sure, I can get impatient about that. When I get like that if I feel trapped. It's actually not my alcoholism; it's my anxiety, right? So I have to, sometimes I have to walk away for a minute and then I can come back. And if I'm in a car, I just need to remember that there are other people on the road. Okay, but I don't know how many times I'm like, "What's wrong with the fucking speed limit?" I'm not a huge speeder, but the speed limit would be nice. Let me get out of second gear here, guys. I get a little impatient on the road. I I could certainly do better. I Before I give God a chance to slow me down, I explode, and that's what I call being quicker than God. Okay, that I don't get to anymore. That's that's the part where I don't go anymore. It's not for me. Who knows what's going on with that person? Maybe maybe it's a grandma, right, who's driving slower, but she has nobody to take her to go get her arthritis pain medication. Gosh, gonna feel it, and that kind of make me feel like a jerk now, huh? Yeah. Maybe that person doesn't have anybody to help them at the moment. And they need to get it done. Maybe they just found out that they're something happened with their daughter. They don't know what's going on. They're in the hospital. So the guy's blowing through things, trying to go around, being impatient. You just never know what's going on with somebody else. So if we can take a few extra minutes and think about it, since we alcoholics are kind of tortured by this, right? But I like what they said, what I call being quicker than God. That repeated experience gave me an idea. I thought if I could look down on these events from God's point of view, I might better control my feelings and behavior. I tried it, and when I encountered the next slow driver, I levitated and looked down on the other car and upon myself. I saw an elderly couple driving along, happily chatting about their grandchildren. I got grandchildren. I'm a very young grandpa. I'm fortunate that way. I got 5 grandkids. I'd like one more. One more. But they've all said no. And it wasn't even then, there wasn't even a thought. The answer was no. I Maybe one day, but I don't I think we're done. Now I'm gonna have to look forward to great grandchildren. Hopefully I'll be around. Anyway, they were followed by me, bug-eyed and red-faced, who had no time scheduled to meet anyway. I looked so silly that I dropped back into reality and slowed down. Seeing things from God's angle of vision can be very relaxing. Maybe maybe God's trying to slow you down because you're going too quick. He wants you to slow down or you're going to cause an accident in 2 blocks. You never know what God's plan is with all of that. I believe half the time we never even see what happens because God's protecting us. And we our finite minds just don't see that. Okay. But impatience affects you more than it affects anybody else. And since it leads back to fear, it is an ever corroding thread against your soul. We don't want that either, do we? No. Right? Be patient with yourself. You're going through something hard. Okay? Everything that we give to everybody else has got to start with us. That includes being patient. I have to be patient with myself before I can be patient with you. I have to love myself before I can start to love you. All right? Patience, tolerance, kindliness, and love. All four of them I need to do for me before I can do for you. You cannot transmit something you do not have. Okay? All right. Thank you, everybody, for being here. I appreciate it. I think I'm going to try and hit a noon meeting. I don't know which one, though. Probably one where I can just sink into it. Yeah. Hide behind my camera and listen. Probably one of those kinds. Oh, we already did coffee. We did coffee yesterday, so I can dismiss that. Okay. Thank you, everybody, for being here. I appreciate it. I hope you have a fantastic day. Good chance I'll be back again later, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock. All right. Now, it'd be after 3 o'clock, maybe 1 o'clock. I don't know, but I'm pretty sure I'll be back again later. Thank you, everybody, for being here. I appreciate it. I love you. You know I do. Peace out.